The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good morning everyone, and welcome along to this What's New in version 2.5. Never has a webinar been so aptly titled. What's New in version 2.5 is what we're going to be looking at this morning. All the new bits and pieces that we put into to Go Connect for the latest version. It's going to take me about half an hour, I think, to go through the presentation. I'm going to be doing a bit of a live demo as well, so I'm not going to just bore you with PowerPoint slides. We've got some sort of live stuff we can show you as well. I've got quite a few people on the line this morning, so if you've got any questions, the best way to do that is to the wonders of Go Connect. It's actually picked up the fact that I'm on an online webinar. That wasn't planned as a demonstration, but you kind of get the gist. We'll see that a little bit later. Lots of people on the webinar this morning, so if you've got any questions, there's a little questions facility on the GoToWebinar panel that you have in front of you, the little control panel. You can type your questions in there. I can't sort of break out of the webinar or the flow of the presentation to answer the questions, but what we can do at the end, I'll have a review of those questions, have a quick look at them, and then obviously ping you an email with any responses to the questions that you might ask. So feel free, ask whatever questions you want, but we can't obviously interrupt the flow as we have quite a few people on online this morning. Let me just get my little clock out of the way. Okay, so what's new in version 2.5? Well, it's going to be released 1st of December 2014, so just a week or so away from that. We've updated the current sales presentation with all of the new information on what's new in version 2.5. So that's a complete description of Go Connect. I'm not going to go through that today. So the assumption is that you already know what the product is and what it does, and all we're going to be looking at today is just the new features. But from 1st of December, the new sales presentation with all the new features incorporated into it will be available as well. One of the key things that's new in version 2.5, probably the most important thing, is there is now a new Office Plus version of the PC client. So you're probably familiar with the Office and the CRM versions, where we now have an Office Plus version, and that version has many of the new things that are in 2.5. So the things that we've added into 2.5 are not always available in the Office version, but they are available in the Office Plus version and also in the CRM version as well. So it kind of sits between the traditional Office and CRM versions. Here's a quick summary of everything that's new in 2.5. I'm going to be going through each one of these bullet points in turn anyway, so no need to sort of read and take them all in one go. But just briefly, you can see the ones with the green asterisk on them. They are the ones which are obviously new in 2.5, but they're the ones that are available in Office Plus and in the CRM version of the client. So things like preferred device, the combined view, availability-based actions. You're going to see all these in the presentation. They are in the Office Plus version and the CRM version. So lots of things to get through. Starting off with the presence window, first new thing is we have a new sort of view by option. So let me just pull up my presence window. There we go. So you're probably familiar with the little view by on here with extensions and users. Well, there's now a combined view as well. And what the combined view will show you is all users, all extensions, but also other sort of unused extensions and ring groups, etc. As well, as it says on my slide here. So extensions not associated with users as well. So it's kind of a mix of pretty much everything that you would want to see in that combined view. Something else within the combined view is the change in the way that users are represented. So I'll just bring that back up again, shouldn't have closed it down. So on the combined view, you'll see that the icons are now different shapes. The round ones are the extensions, and they may have a name against them if you've configured an extension with a user's name. But users are then shown by the square icons. And in fact, you probably spotted already that my icon for my client is a square icon as well now. So that's the idea of that. If a client user has multiple devices associated with them, we're going to talk about that and preferred device in a moment, but if that user has more than one device associated with them, you'll see they have a little plus next to their name now. And when you click on that, it actually opens up the display or expands the display a little bit further, so you can see that I've got 204 is my desk phone, I've got 304 is my soft phone, and 504 is my mobile phone. So you can kind of expand and collapse the display to see the different devices associated with a particular user. Presence groups are also now, or call groups rather, can also now be added to the presence window. So the call group extension is automatically downloaded from the phone system. The one thing you need to bear in mind is, again, bring the presence window back up again, keep closing it. So I've got one down here, this 100 Phil's call group. For it to appear there, the thing that you need to bear in mind is in the configuration of the GoConnect on the server, when you're looking at your extensions display and you're looking at the call group that's been downloaded from the phone system, you must remember to not have the hide status ticked. That may be ticked, thinking that you wouldn't want that call group to appear on Presence. But if you do want it to appear, then you don't want to have that option ticked for that particular call group. Something also new, nice and new, with the Presence window is the docking facility. Now, the idea of that, it's a bit difficult for me to display this because I'm running on a Windows 7 laptop, and it is only supported on Windows 8. So I'm going to try and do my best to sort of show how this actually works. If I bring my Presence window back up first of all, what you can do with this is you can size the Presence window up. So once it's in sort of minimized status or unmaximized status, you can size the window up in the way that you want, and then when you would normally hit the full screen to maximize the window, what it'll actually do on Windows 8 now is it'll move that window over to the right hand side, and then anything else that you then display, so let me just pull up another window, there we go. So that's pretty much what the docking is all about. So regardless of what you're actually looking at, on the left hand side, the Presence window is automatically docked to the right hand side to the size that you sized it up when it was unminimized. And so that works only on Windows 8 platforms, but quite a nice little feature. You can also email from Presence now, so you can pick up a user and you can literally, there's a little send an email option. Now you can see on my screen that one is actually grayed out. Why is that? Well, the reason being that in order to send an email to a user, that user needs to have an email address in the system. So that was who was that? Daniel somebody. Can't see the guy's name. Daniel Evans. So in the configuration on users, if you look at Daniel Evans' user record, you can see there's no email address in there at the moment. So clearly the function of emailing requires that email address to be present for that particular user. But a nice little feature that you can email people now. And what it'll do is it'll open up an Outlook email and basically just insert the recipient's email address in that new email, and then you can type the rest of the information that you need. So that's it for Presence. On the availability side of things, some things have changed there. You're probably familiar with some of the availability states, but they've been extended. Now there's more user selectable options. So in your system tray under availability now, you'll see you have significantly more options to play around with to better describe your current status, whether you're in a meeting or working away, etc., or whether you're on holiday. So that's been extended. There's also some auto sense availability states now in version 2.5, and the idea of those is that within the system it can sense your activity, if you like, and work out what kind of availability status to display. So you may have seen at the very beginning of the webinar, I've got the client running and it sensed that I was actually in a GoToMeeting meeting, and that's one of the things that it can do. So it can set your availability to online meeting when you're in a GoToMeeting webinar, when you're doing a TeamViewer meeting or on a link call or WebEx or a Skype call as well. So it can kind of sense that you're on an online meeting and set your availability that way. You can also work out if you're away from your desk, if your PC is dormant for a particular period of time, then it can set your availability as away from desk. And it can also sort of hunt into your Exchange calendar, and if you've got your normal working hours set, then it can display when you're outside of normal working hours. So some sort of auto sense capability there alongside the manual availability that you can set for yourself. That's all controlled in a new section in the configurator. Let's pull the configurator up. In the activities section, so some of the pages on the configurator have moved around a little bit. There's now a complete events section, which previously was a single page on its own. So on the activities section, you can do things like, do you want to have the meeting software detection on? You can have whether or not you want to have inactivity detection and how long you want to wait until you then put your availability into away from desk. And you can also say whether or not when you lock the screen, whether you want to then put some sort of availability status on that when you put the screen lock on. And you can also enable the calendar integration side of things in terms of picking up your availability from your calendar, from your out of working hours, etc. So lots of things you can control there on the activities page. This is how the Outlook versus GoConnect statuses or states reflect or correspond. So on the left-hand side you have all the Outlook states, and on the right-hand side you have the GoConnect availability states that map onto those values. And we've got lots of little nice sort of icons to display as well that show up a user's availability. Something else new in 2.5, also available only in the Office Plus and CRM, is what we call availability-based actions. And the context of that is that you can set something to happen based on when you go into an availability state on enter, or when you exit an availability state. So for example, I think on the next slide I've got an example of that, yeah. For example, when you go into in a meeting status, if your availability becomes in a meeting, then you might want to have your phone calls, your incoming calls forwarded to another device, or you may want to send to or set it to DND, or maybe you want to select a preferred device. We'll talk about preferred devices in a moment, or maybe just set some absence text. So when you go into that state, you can have something happen, and when you come out of that state, then you can have something happen and maybe reset what you did in the first place. So lots of ways you can kind of configure and play with that. That's in a new screen on availability. We'll talk about these other options in a moment, but on the lower section of the availability screen, you can see the various states that are available, and you can literally just click in any one of these boxes and then configure what it is you want to have happen when you enter or exit that availability state. All pretty straightforward stuff. Multi-device users, I was hinted on this a little bit earlier. So the idea of this is that you can now specify which is your preferred device. So obviously you need to have more than one device in the first place for this to be relevant, but it then allows the user to then select that preferred device. If we kind of go back to our configuration for a moment and we look at particular users, if we have a look at me on the system, on my telephony tab, at the moment I've got a desk phone of 204, a soft phone of 304, and a mobile extension of 504, so I'm using the GoConnect mobile as well. So I've got those multiple devices set up and configured for me, and what that means is on my desktop client I've got a new option now, preferred device, and I can then say which is my current preferred device. And what that means is that if I make a call, any kind of an outbound call, then it will go out on that preferred device. If I receive calls from my colleagues, those calls will come in on my preferred device. If we just pull up the presence window again for a moment, and you can see at the moment that I'm on 204, which is my sort of displayed device. We can open it up and we can see the other devices as well. But if I go in here and change my preferred device to my mobile, for example, you can see it's updated the display. Right, and now the first of the options is listed as the 504. So anybody calling me will call me on 504, regardless of which one they click on in terms of here. So if they do a dial from here, then they'll be dialing me on 504. So I can kind of control the way that actually works. In terms of the switching on from the client level, as long as I've got values in here set up for me on the server, in that case, if I show you my client on my configuration, on my mobility page, I can't change those numbers. They're fixed because they're defined for me in my user definition on the server. If I didn't have a second extension or a mobile device, I could come in here and tick the options in the same way, but I could then enter the device that I wanted to be as my second extension or my mobile device. But because those values are already set up for me on my user account, then they're not editable or changeable from the configuration. That's all pretty good. That's what's known as the preferred device. You can also change your preferred device up here at the top of the presence screen as well. So you can either do it there or you can do it in the preferred device option that we saw a little bit earlier on. That's all pretty good, pretty nice. I mean, that's what that screen shows you. Something to point out though is regardless of what preferred device you've got selected, so you may be having everything routed through to your mobile, for example, but nonetheless, when a call comes in, or in fact when you're actually making a call as well, the preview window that you're familiar with from the system already, that will automatically still display anyway, so you'll still see that call being displayed as on the preview window, regardless of which of your devices you're actually using to make or receive that call. There's been a little change in the address book that you can now consult. So we just bring the address book up for a moment and bring up some numbers. There you go. So there's my standard address book. So if I got an incoming call, or I'm connected to a call of some sort, so I'm talking to my colleague. Let me just move that back down there. We'll talk about that one in a moment. I'm talking to my colleague. Once I've got a call connected, you're probably familiar in the present screen of being able to do transfer and consult through present screen. We can also now do that through here as well. So you've got the consult option, and you can transfer a call once you're connected. So that functionality of call control that you're familiar with in presence has now been extended to anybody within the address book, be that internal contacts or external contacts. That's quite a nice little feature. Subtle change in attendant, that we've now introduced scripting in attendant. The idea of this is if an incoming call comes in on a DDI or a DID number, then we can automatically pop a script on the attendant console that the person viewing that console can then read that script, and it's pretty much designed for operators or other attendants in a multi-tenant or multi-client environment. So a call coming in on a DDI, it's displayed on the screen, and automatically on their auto tab the script will display there, so they can then answer the call in the appropriate way, rather than just having it as extension, DID, DDI 100 for example. That's quite a nice little feature. Miscellaneous, you saw this by accident a moment ago because I was messing around with my client. You can see it's still running there, so just hang that call up for a moment. So traditionally you're used to seeing the preview window always appearing in the bottom right hand corner. That may have been appropriate, but we've had various requests for it not to necessarily be fixed there. So what you can do with it now is you can drag your preview window into any one of 4 quadrants on your screen, and then if you hang up and then just redisplay, I didn't need to hang up, and then just redisplay, it'll automatically then reposition itself to the top right hand corner. So you can drag it to pretty much anywhere within the quadrant. Let me just drag that one over to here. There we go. So it's not exactly in the corner. Right, but if I close it down and then reopen it again, it'll always go up into the top left hand, top right hand, bottom and bottom left and right hand corner. So it repositions right into the corner of the screen. You just have to drag it somewhere within the appropriate quadrant. That's quite a nice new thing added. We had a few people asking for that one. We also now support Busy Light from Quando. If you're not familiar with that product, a nice picture to very graphically display what the device does, and you can go to busylight.com for more information. Essentially, it's a little light that shows your current status, and the interaction or the integration we've got with Busy Light, other than obviously driving the device, is that these availability statuses on GoConnect are reflected by these colours on the Busy Light system. All pretty straightforward. That's actually configured on the availability section on the configurator. So on the availability page, it's not actually configured, it's a kind of a plug and play thing, so it kind of works as is, but you can see the status there would be displayed if you had Busy Light up and running. Something else that's new in 2.5 is the call using desk phone option for Link. So any Link 2013 or Office 365 Link users can now make a call on their handset directly from the Link client. So it kind of manifests itself like that. So you've got call using desk phone. To be absolutely clear, that's nothing at all to do with Go Gateway, with the remote call gateway, RCC. Nothing to do with that at all. It's just an automatic function that now works for Link 2013 and Office 365 Link users. They can make call directly to their through their handset. It doesn't include all the other call control, because obviously that's what Go Gateway is all about. So the, incoming call handling, etc., transferring calls, that's still part of Go Gateway. And also not to be confused with the original option that was around and still is around in 2.4, which was the update link state when on a call. That's this option on the availability page we were looking at a moment ago. That's the one that if you're on a call on Go Connect, then it will put on a call in your on your link screen. If you're in DND mode, and then it'll put DND, so it indicates your call status through through Go Connect, but it indicates that call status on your link screen. So that's still around and available. And the last thing to show you is the online help facility, which has now been added. So the old PDF manuals have now been replaced with context-sensitive online help. Best way to describe that is if I go in and go into my configurator, for example. So I'm on my telephony page. Rather than thumbing through a PDF, what I can do now is I can click on the little help icon in the top right-hand corner, because I have my screen minimized. There we go, and it takes you immediately to the online help system on GoConnectCRM.com and takes you to the page from where you kind of clicked for help. So we're straight on the telephony section. You can jump around the different pages if you want to. All of the different sections are there now, and there's a fair amount of detail there that would have been in the PDF manual, but rather than thumbing through trying to find the thing you're looking for, you can literally click on it directly from from the screen. That's all pretty good stuff as well. So that's pretty much it. I said half an hour, but actually it's taken me 20 minutes to go through those. Some of the demos didn't take as long as I thought they would do. So a fair amount new in 2.5, lots of different bits and pieces. The main thing to go back on now, so we go back to that original slide I had, that one, and that's a sort of summary of the new features. So the things that I've shown you this morning that you need to just bear in mind that they are in Office Plus or CRM only is the new combined view that we looked at, the availability based actions, the preferred device support, and the all device caller preview. That's the one where the preview window still displays regardless of on what device your phone your incoming call is coming in on, or even your outgoing call. All the other things that I've shown you, all those things listed on the screen there, are included in the base Office product as well. It's just the ones with the asterisk that are the Office Plus and CRM versions. That's pretty much it. Appreciate your time this morning. If you've got any questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the webinar open for sort of 5 or 10 minutes. And if you've got any questions, just pop them in the questions section in the in the GoToMeeting control panel that you have in front of you. I can't see any questions asked at the moment, but if you do have any, pop them in there, and we can obviously answer those questions for you by return of email. So I appreciate your time this morning. It didn't take as long as I thought it would, but hopefully lots of new things in there for sort of make it interesting for version 2.5. Thanks for your time. Speak to you again soon.